Hello, in this video I want to continue talking about the layers tree and get into the nitty-gritty a little bit more about all of the options inside here with the right click context menus and column sorting and things like that. So this is a very customizable space. Each of these columns can be moved, rearranged, turned on, turned off. The entire window can be moved, scaled, smaller. You can undock it, and you can see the dockable Windows video for that. But for now, let's just go through these columns. Most of these will look familiar. These options are brought over mostly from Atlas SE, and they do take up quite a bit of space, so in some cases you might find that having the label visibility or the layer visibility on may not be necessary. It's quick and easy to just open display layer settings now. That was a double click on the lake layer, and that opens up layer settings. So adjusting those types of things you might find a little bit easier in other ways, or if you want to keep this open, you can turn on and off the layer visibility from here. You have to just use this little drop down option, and we could turn lakes off, or you can go back in and turn them on. I don't have one visible here, so that's not a great example. I can turn these off. Regen. I'm just going to go to always off, and you do have to hit enter after that to get that change to take effect. I'm going to go ahead and turn those back on. Automatic, enter, turn those back on. Now if this is too much for you, there's two options to remove these. Feature type, obviously you have three options: line, polygon, and point. So if you want to look at those, you can leave that in there. If you don't, you can just pull that out, and you can see that little red X, so you're going to kind of turn that off. So that's the quick way to do it. The more proper way to do that, where you can turn it back on as well, would be to right click on a header, any of these headers, show column chooser, and then you can see we removed feature type. I can turn that back on right there. I don't really like to show anything besides the layer name and the count, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off all of these. And now with that, you can see it's a little bit more simplified, and for me that's all I really need. You can check your count when you're adding features, removing features, and sort of keep an eye on everything. Now the way that this is set up in terms of grouping is that you have a map layers group, which at first glance may not look like a group, but it is the parent to all layers. So you can see here the count for all features is 50,998. Now if you wanted to turn everything off, you could just click this parent group and turn it off. Similar to toggle, depending on maybe how you learn or what you want to use. This could be up, and maybe you just want to use that to toggle. Now you will turn everything off, including orthos at this point, so just wanted to show you that because orthos is part of the layer tree, turning that off will turn everything off. Turn those orthos back off. And let's get into the right click context menus. I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger so we can all see it. First thing we'll do, just because I want to show you how to group layers, is I will ungroup these layers. So right clicking on a group folder gives you slightly different options. Because you can't adjust layer settings and things, most of these options aren't going to be available, but you can create a subgroup in that folder or ungroup. So in this case we will ungroup, and what that does is it will remove that primary folder and put all of those layers just into the main group map layers, just into the layers tree. So now let's say we want to get those back. I'm going to hold shift on the keyboard, click down at the bottom, highlighting all of the layers that I want to make a group out of. right click, make group from this selection. It does take a second with a few layers, as it has to basically kind of import them to a new location, but there you go. You can see we have a new group, and you just click on that, and we'll just change these back to primary. Hit enter. So simple as that. We've got a new group, and you can see that I've done that to quite a few other layers. Some things that I don't use that often I put in other just depletion layers. I made a depletion folder, and these folders do adjust the draw priority as with other layers themselves. The layers inside of a folder respect the draw priority. So I'm going to put this back at the top because I think that's where I want it, always to draw those on top. And let's open that back up.